You've played stadiums. What was touring like back then before cell phones?
We were sleeping on people's floors. The thought of any of this stuff becoming a mainstream thing was not a thought. We would all work jobs and all pay into the band, like weekly. That eventually bought us our first van. It was like sacrifice. I've never once used AI for anything. It's gotta have soul. The world's getting more wild and it's getting more difficult for the everyday person to survive. If you're a true patriot, then you should be giving a f about other Americans. I honestly don't know where I'd be without my wife being a constant voice of reason and talking me out of wrapping my brain in a knot. All right, let's get real.
My brother, you are an absolute legend inside of the scene of hardcore punk, influencing pop punk bands all around the world. Fans have been lining up. I mean, you've been on tour since 1998. You've experienced some of the greatest things, and you're consistently on tour. You're about to do like a year touring right now.
Yeah, we're doing what we can do. We're doing the maximum amount of what everyone in the band can actually pull off.
And you guys are crushing.
It's old guy. We gotta pick and choose what we do, and we gotta make sure everyone's home to be present for the other aspects of their lives. Yeah, we got a lot of...
You're working.
A lot of good stuff to look forward to, and that's all I ever really asked for in this life.
Well, you just released your, like maybe a month ago now, give or take, your last record, and for I Am Avalanche, and you are always on the go, bro, and I think that you've given a voice to a lot of people that needed a voice at certain moments inside of their lives. And here inside of the Space of Solace, we like to kick things off by asking a question that dives deep. And that's, what are you currently struggling with in private that you have not spoken about in public?
I actually got a flight I need to get. No, I'm so much struggling. So much, man. Life's brutal. Would you like a list?
Yeah.
All right, let's get real. Struggling with grief. I miss my people. Struggling with grief that I didn't know existed. There's all these different stages and there's all different levels of that. And I got hit with the big ones. So that's on the forefront and on the tip of my tongue and on the front of my brain. And
Is it physical grief, or is it like a distance grief? Is it the fact that someone passed inside of your life?
I lost my best friend and my dad in the course of like a year and a half.
I'm sorry for your loss. That's why.
Thank you.
That's why when we were talking about my dad at dinner, I mean at lunch just now, you definitely sat with that differently.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, but also just like I said, it's different levels, different kinds of your experience with that and my experience with that are completely two different
Worlds,
solar systems. Yeah. I feel like I'm on the edge of a midlife crisis as well. Like naturally. Like part of me is like, oh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I am. And I'm sure of that. But the crisis is like, well, so say if I'm lucky enough to say that I'm done with the first half of my life. So the second half of my life, if I'm lucky, what are we doing with that? And am I running around on stage? Like, is my body going to allow me to do that? Is the universe going to allow me to do that? Like, am I going to be able to make music that connects with people for the rest of my life? that kind of stuff is super like on the forefront of my mind. And it's not something that I'm trying to fixate on, but it's like just something that's naturally showing itself constantly, where I'm 46 years old. God, I love my life. I love, despite any of the that we all have to go through, like I do love my life, and I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But that's a struggle. That's the struggle of like, like I'm not a rock star. I'm not like, oh yeah, I made my fortune, I can just cruise. Like I'm a straight up working class kind of situation over here. Like you have to think about that. And I'm not just like I'm not just gonna grind until the wheels fall off and just leave scorched earth and then just disappear from the planet. I have people that love me. I have a wife that loves me. I have friends, like I have a community that means the world to me. So it's just like I need to maintain, do my thing, but also think about like, what is the second half of my life going to be like? I hope it's filled with music, and I hope I do what I do like forever. But you have doubts, and reality creeps in, and you believe in yourself, and you are also a realist, and then those two things just constantly are just bashing heads.
Talk about the duality of I just find it. I know you from a different lens. So you say something like, I'm not a rock star. And I'm like, holy, you are a rock star. You are a rock star. You were just telling me about how you played, Paramore hits you up. First and foremost, you had the opportunity to take Paramore out on tour at one point, and then on top of that. That was the
worst tour Paramore's ever had. I and the Avalanche took Paramore out in probably 2006. It was I'm the Avalanche,
which is wicked, dude. That's
Paramore,
nuts.
and the Audition.
Oh.
And I mean, nobody was coming out to see us. We were playing in a lot of places where no, we shouldn't have been playing. We were playing certain shows where we were like, oh yeah, Paramore should be headlining this tour. No. What I mean by rock star is like,
what, dude? You've played stadiums. Like when we talk about rock star, you've played stadiums in markets that people shouldn't be playing stadiums in. So like, you have that. Is it tied to being a rock star and having a rock star income?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the reality that you face every day. Is just like, okay, we're doing this, and we're getting by, and we're somehow making a living playing music, which is a blessing. But like, like I've never achieved kind of like certain heights where like I don't have to worry about that, like, which is cool because it's always been like that. We didn't really have a whole lot of money growing up. I've always been a happy guy. Like, it's all good. It's just a matter of like longevity and sustainability. That's where the midlife crisis creeps in, and just like the little doubts and then we go and make the Avalanche record that we just released is like, never been more proud of anything in my life as far as my creative output. And then I can occasionally like true legends, dude.
True legends.
True legends never die.
Oh, that track, if you are watching this right now, do yourself the favor. I am Avalanche. True legends never die. It is one of the most brutal things, and I'm super stoked for you guys to hear that.
True legends never die. Long live Rye. 666.
So, question for you. You have this new record that dropped. You say it's the best piece of work that you've ever made. You're the most proud of it that you are.
Yeah, it's a fact.
But you're going through we're going to call it pre-midlife because
I'm going to be 100. I'm going to live to be 100.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you.
So at 60, I'll hit my midlife crisis.
Bet. So we're in the pre-midlife. Have you been doing anything to act on pre-midlife crisis? Like, I forget what that movie was.
No, whenever I've just been worrying.
Okay.
Nothing but worrying.
Yeah, what was that movie called? Crazy Beautiful or something like that, where Kevin Spacey is going through a midlife crisis of some
American
sort.
Beauty.
American Beauty. Whenever I think of
American
midlife
Beauty?
crisis, that's what I think.
Right.
I think so. So like it's just been worry inside of your head. What have you been doing to cope with that? Or what have you been doing to release that?
I've been writing, I've been recording, I've been performing. Music's always that kind of outlet. I don't know. Like it's a thing where I'm not like setting up the next half of my life right now. I'm setting up this record and doing what I'm just doing, like honestly, what I 100% believe I should be doing. So there's no doubt there, which is nice. It's just normal stuff. It's just normal human stuff where, you know, the world's getting more wild and it's getting more difficult for the everyday person to survive. Whether it be like them not being able to cope with I don't know what the word would be to describe this country right now, even. Embarrassment. There's a lot of embarrassing going on right now. And but not even just that, just like coping and being a human being and being a happy human being. You know, I've had some times in my life where I've been severely unhappy. And I remember how, and I'm not there right now, like despite the grief and despite any hardship that I know that I'm not the only one. Despite all that, I'm able to be a happy person. So, but those days where I really didn't see the light and I couldn't find the light and I couldn't find the happiness, like there's a lot of people out there that are right there right now. I'm grateful to not be in the throes of that currently, but like change is quick. Change is quick. I don't know if I answered a question or what right there, but
No, I could for a moment, bro, I could see you revisit that person. And I don't think that you've lost touch with that reality by any means. And being in the position that you're in, where you're in front of, dude, I don't even know how many people you played in front of in this last tour where you were playing with the Messengers. You're in front of people every single day and you are very much giving energy. I've watched your sets.
yeah.
And you're taking energy back.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing to balance all of that, bro? Especially while on tour in the moment. How do you take care of yourself?
This was an easy street tour, meaning we were supporting the Menzingers and we were like, it was a 2-band bill. We're going on at 8, playing a 45-minute set. I'll be completely honest with you. This tour was do our job and do it well, play some new songs, of course, play some old songs, but like 8:45, we're done. Usually open up a bottle and celebrate the fact that that's the best part about, all right, so turn the midlife crisis on its head, right? I'm a 46-year-old dude who's, like you said, I've been doing this since 1998. Being 46, you gain wisdom. We have all been quietly gaining wisdom our whole lives. That's all we've been doing. It's the most important thing we've been doing. Being wise enough to be present and enjoy every single moment of like just like the tour that we just did. I'm telling you right now, I feel like everybody in the band and crew had the vibe of like, this is great. Let's enjoy ourselves. So this tour, I'm not sure how much taking care of things I was doing.
It was celebration, you felt?
It was celebratory. A lot of it was.
Fuck yeah. Because there's some tours that you feel like you're escaping, right? And those are
every tour you're escaping.
In
You really are.
1 degree to another for sure. Yeah. I wish you didn't say that because I'm on the road way too much, bro. I wish you didn't say that because that does make me busy. It does, and it's not always a bad thing. You feel me?
I'm not like escape. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's not always a bad thing, but it is an escape to 1 degree or another.
I'm escaping New York City, and I love New York City, but I like leaving there too and coming back and finding, finding my love for it again when I get home and like,
Yep.
and it's just like, it's not just escaping. It's more like being out there. You're escaping normal life, home life. And home life's great. Me and my wife have a great thing. My mom lives 45-minute drive away. So many of my dear friends I grew up with are still around, like New York, and like my family and my brothers and like my nieces and nephews, and like I'm not trying to escape, but like tour, we get really dialed into like a routine, and that routine works for us. And once that routine, we talked about earlier, like once that routine is really like the train's on the tracks, like it can go on forever. To the point where I was like, damn, I really like the way my voice feels right now. Like, let's just like turn this into like the Incredible Hulk. I got home. My wife actually reminded me the other day. She was just like, you said you were going to get home and give yourself 2 days off and then start singing an hour a day. Like, we have a practice space in my neighborhood, we being like me and a bunch of friends. So it's kind of like The Office. Like, you go there and you do your work and you write and you record and you practice. And she was just like, you said you were going to do that. And I love that she did that. I was like, oh, yeah, she's holding me accountable for like, and she's saying it because she wants me to get out on the next tour and be like Incredible Hulk and feel good about that. And that's one less thing to worry about. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I don't know, I got a little lost.
Well, it's interesting because I just came off of 3 weeks on the road in Europe. And then from Europe, I came back to Miami, went to Puerto Rico, and then from Puerto Rico came back to Miami, and then I was just in Lisbon. So I haven't even had time to like acclimate to time zones, let alone routine.
Right.
And this last trip back out to Lisbon, I brought my wife and my daughter. And my wife was on my ass like, yo, you got to get rest. Yo, you need to do this. And we got back last night, and it was the jet lag partially. But immediately I was on my phone working. And then this morning I'm up by 7 a.m. and I had already taken like 3 calls. And it's like, it doesn't, I love having women inside of our lives that have the consciousness and the love for us to say like, yo, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Right? That is so important. But I also know that it doesn't feel like work. Like it's habitual. And I think that at a certain point, there needs to be a certain balance between it as well.
Yeah. No, I honestly don't know where I'd be without like my wife being a constant like voice of reason and, talking me out of just wrapping my brain in a knot.
Me too. Me too.
It's so important to my like everything.
Me too. So Vinny, you've been on the road since 1998. I was born in 92.
I've come home from time to time.
Okay, I'm glad. And you've seen the scene at every point that it's been from early 2000s all the way to where it is that we're at today.
Late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s. I was trying to give you credit.
Yeah.
But being at the forefront of so much of that and then seeing it from so many different angles, what have you seen the biggest changes as of recently when it comes to being a touring artist, experiencing what's going on in today's economy and in comparison to when you were doing it in the late 90s?
Jeez, late 90s, it was like touring. Our first tour was in a Jeep Grand Cherokee across the whole country.
How many days?
We were probably gone for like 3 weeks. 5 people in a Jeep. And then the gear and the bags were in the headliners, our friends called Inside. This was Movielife. And that's the way it was then. I think we got one hotel room on that whole tour, and I remember being like, wow, this is the best, you know? This was my first taste of real freedom. And I really, like, I still feel it. I was driving around, like, the Southwest, like, a few weeks ago, listening to my favorite Southwest record to put on, which is Frank Black and the Catholics. It's called Dog in the Sand. Perfect record if you're just cruising across, like, the desert in California, Southern California, through into Arizona, into New Mexico.
I love that area.
It's such a cool, and we did it, like, we had so many scenic drives on this tour because we were just cutting into all these little cities. Like, they would call this a B and C market tour. So we ended up in a lot of cities that you don't normally see on like a major market tour, but like every show was like crowds that were so glad that you were there, which was really cool, and it kind of put wind in our sails after an 8-hour drive, you know. We live in such a beautiful country. It's so wild how big it is. I tour in the UK all the time, and it's crazy. It's like the longest drive on tour will be 4 hours, and it's like 4 hours.
Touring throughout Europe is always so epic because you can take a train and be in like 3 different countries from breakfast to lunch. And the scene back then.
Back then, the scene was very small. There was a few hundred people in every city that knew about this secret thing, you know? It seemed that way. The thought of any of this stuff becoming a mainstream thing was not a thought. No, it wasn't possible.
To put into perspective, who were you touring with back then? What bands were popping back then inside of the scene?
Late 90s, we started moving. So like Jimmy Eat World was an indie band doing their thing.
Jimmy Eat World was an indie band doing their thing.
At the drive-in.
Sick.
I remember you would like get to a city and then you talk to everybody. Like it's all just like this DIY community. And just be like, what happened? They're like, oh, this band, blah, blah, blah. And then we, stop in the record store in the next town, pick up the record and just discover stuff. And then you end up being on tour with some of these bands. In the early 2000s, everything kind of changed. We were touring with like more in a hardcore. We were never a hardcore band, the Movielife, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so either.
But we came from a hardcore scene, and we were on a hardcore record label called Revelation Records. And we were touring with bands like Reach the Sky and Boy Sets Fire. We met the Thursday guys in the late 90s and toured with them a bunch.
Wow.
But things kind of changed when we toured with Newfound Glory in probably 2000. It was Newfound Glory, Glassjaw, The Movielife, and Autopilot Off. And I remember going from like this DIY kind of scene and being exposed to like, oh, well, like, what's that? Oh, like that's a barricade. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. What's this? Oh, it's a sound check. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And like the scene, there's always been like underground stuff, but like The Movielife was a pretty poppy band that got exposed to kind of these new worlds, and we were interested in like playing in front of as many people as we possibly could,
naturally,
having fun and playing cool shows and stuff. So it's like I got to see, before The Movielife was The Movielife, I went to my first, you were born in 92, right?
92.
I think I went to my first show in 92. So like I was just it was called a band called Vision of Disorder from my town, who was like a sick, metallic kind of hardcore band. And that was just like, changed my whole life. It's why we're sitting here right now is like, not just that, but my 2 older brothers finding the scene, and what that meant back then was the hardcore scene that was happening on Long Island.
And what was that like? Who was ripping at that point?
In the 90s, when I was going to shows as like a full-time job before it even occurred to me. So I'd say there was 5 years there where it didn't even occur to me to be in a band. I was just like, I just want to go to shows. I want to have fun. A lot of bands that people off of Long Island, people that aren't from Long Island, or people that aren't nerdy enough to have found these bands. Silent Majority, massive, massive influential band to so many bands from Long Island that people have heard, like more guys, my peers and guys in my generation. Silent Majority, Mind Over Matter, Neglect, Clockwise, that kind of stuff was like massive for me and my friends. And kind of like, we kind of followed in the footsteps, not like, maybe not as much creatively, but just like, oh, they went on tour. So like, it's called tour when a band leaves town. And like, we were just like, so, and they're from my town. Like, why can't we can do that, right? We just need a van. Like, what should we do? Like, buy a van? Cool. Let's like, in the early Movielife days, we would all work jobs. I was 17, 18. We would all work jobs and all pay into the band like weekly, into like a fund that eventually bought us our first van. It was like sacrifice.
Do you guys still do that today?
Nah, we don't. We're not on the road all the time anymore, because everyone in the Movielife and in I'm the Avalanche, everyone's got their lives going on, and we tour when we can, and when we do, it's great, and we love it, and we love being around each other. But now, no, it's we rent a van. There's nowhere. If we bought a van, I don't even know where it would go.
Yeah, and you ain't gonna park it in Brooklyn, bro.
We would end up having to like rent it out to other bands and stuff. And I'm not really trying to be a
hurts.
Yeah. So no, nowadays it's like we rent a van and experience life in it for a month here, a month there, and give it back.
So you, from the 90s, late 90s, rocking and rolling, I Am Avalanche. Outside of I Am Avalanche, Movielife, your guys in I Am Avalanche, people that you consider family, they're producing records that are changing the scene and sculpting the scene right now.
Yeah, for real.
Which is wild.
It is actually nuts. Like, I did a lot of driving on this last tour, and literally just Brett Romness, we call him the Rat. Brett, who's our drummer, and John Markson, who's our bass player, are both like with just sitting on the bench of the van with headphones on, mixing records, like multiple records over the course of a month. And it's just like, it's crazy. Yeah, Brett does the Hot Mulligan records, the Free Throw records, the Mom Jeans records. You know what's like really cool is like
insane,
and like so much more. Like I can't even get into everything he does. But like, I love you,
and she loves
Thank
you too.
You for the love. So Brett's doing that at the same time. Every time we go back and record, we're seeing like how much better and how much more of a master he's become at his craft. So this new Avalanche record, which is called The Horror Show, is like the best sounding records he's ever done, in my opinion, and that I've ever done too. We've ever done. And then, which is really, it's really rad to see the growth and see like, and it's exciting too. Like we come in and bring him the songs, and then he shows us where he's at, and we're all like, oh, this is going to be great. And John Markson, our bass player, he's the same thing. Like he did the Story So Far's latest record. He did the Drain record. He did the new Quicksand record. He did the Koyo records. It Doesn't Stop. One Step Closer record. He did the new Held record, which people should check out. Band called Held, Held. So to have those two guys, like to think about the amount of records that are coming out, that are being mixed in our van while we're on tour is comical. Those two guys are like responsible for a lot of how things are sounding out there right now.
Which is wild. The scene's making a massive comeback, and it was interesting. It went through this. I was heavily involved inside of the scene. I grew up inside of I was listening to Brand New, Citizen, Story So Far, when Story So Far was dropping their EP. So hearing stuff like that is wild.
Yeah.
And then there was a dip inside of the scene where I was like, man, is this scene like, where is the scene? The shows weren't as packed. People weren't as energetic. And then you had just certain bands that made a massive comeback and then also held the scene together throughout the entire process. And you guys have been a constant inside of the scene, like pulling up to when we were young festival, which was really cool. I decided to buy those tickets before I knew who was going to be on the lineup. And then I was like, oh, Vinny's on the lineup. Yeah. So you've seen a lot of things inside of the scene, but the scene has changed drastically and touring has changed drastically. And when I'm on tour with a lot of our friends that we have in common, I hear these stories and I'm like, dude, man, I feel like I was born in the wrong generation, right? Like for me, I always said that I would have killed it in the 20s. I would have ripped in the 20s, no question, dude. And then I feel I always would have killed it in like the Greaser area as well, right? So hearing inside,
What would that be, the 50s?
Yeah, that's the 50s. Yeah. And hearing the stories, like I was born in this generation of music. I was listening to music for a while, but I didn't pursue it up until the last few years, real. What was touring like back then before cell phones, before people being able to see absolutely everything, before I would even say certain levels of public accountability? Like it was just pure artistry at its finest, rock star lifestyle. What was that like?
We were sleeping on people's floors. Back then, okay, so one thing would be, I don't have people writing to me on Instagram asking what the set time is of the show that's happening in 3 hours. Back then was, okay, so back in those days, yeah, things were different. There were no phones. There might have been a digital camera in the crowd taking a picture of you, but there was never just like,
or social
I couldn't
sharing.
go on Instagram and just look at the set I just played, like in the form of little clips, you know. But everyone was very present. I believe everybody was just talking to each other in between bands and stuff. Nobody was like, like your phone wasn't for a thing. Your phone was to like call somebody. You know what I mean? Like, and things were like, you know, things were different. People were buying records. We were selling records, properly selling records. And the way that music would get around was completely different. So like a playlist or like recommended for you kind of thing. Dude, a sampler would be such, I don't know if you had this, but like I would get a sampler and find a new band with every single one. I loved
samplers, bro.
So effective. There's people that come to Movielife shows and we're like, you were on the Atticus sampler, you know, the Blink-182 dudes like clothing line. It's just like, that's why you're here in 2026 is because of that introduction, which is crazy. But things were much different back then. Not everything was being lived on a screen. It was kind of being lived in the moment. And that was pretty special. And, you know, records were being consumed aside from like the odd song on a sampler or a compilation. Like records were being consumed as records, it seemed a little bit more, which I've been like, I don't know how effective it's been, but with the new Avalanche record, I'm like, hey, like listen to the whole thing from front to back. And everyone's like, sure, I'll do whatever I want to do. How about that? Which is totally understandable because I do the same. But no, things were totally different back then. Dude, I used to walk to this is pre-cell phones. I used to walk, because wherever we would play back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s, we weren't really in good neighborhoods. Like the clubs were like off the beaten path in like maybe rougher neighborhoods and stuff. I used to walk with brass knuckles in my pocket to a payphone with a calling card to like call my mom or like call my girlfriend at the time or something like that. That's a memory of early touring. And it was like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? Calling cards. I need to be able to call everybody. So
calling cards.
Straight up. And then, we're going to England. You need international calling cards. I'm being straight up like, what do you want for Christmas? Like, your parents or whatever.
Well, that's a good question and stuff right there. How did people find out about you in England without the internet?
Magazines. There was a thing called magazines.
Yeah, but that's the shit, dude. How could journalism. They hear you? How could they hear you through the conversion of something like, all right, I'm going to read about this band and then go and find their record and hunt this record.
That would be the way it was. So like, okay, there were no podcasts. I would be doing this with somebody with a tape recorder. And I mean, that's the thing. Publicists, journalists.
I feel so young right now, dude.
Publicists and journalists and record labels. Record labels having, all the impetus to work as hard as they possibly could. Not that they don't do that now, but they're just doing it in a different way. They're going down different avenues to try to reach people. But like back then, and this is probably the end of that, like I'm probably like on the tail end of it in the early Movielife days is where, like journalists, publicists, magazines, people would read the magazines. They would hold a magazine in their hand and read it. Sometimes in those, and then it would be a 1-2 punch because sometimes in those magazines,
a CD
would be a CD with a little sampler. There would be a review on the back. Hopefully you got a good one, and people would actually like, hey, this magazine that I've been growing, that's been feeding me and teaching me all this stuff that I'm getting into, showing me all this stuff, I trust. They gave this thing a 5 out of 5. Let's check it out. That kind of thing. That's how it worked. Yeah, it worked more in a traditional way back then.
I think, although that sounds exhausting, I feel what we do right now to promote our music is even more so exhausting.
I don't want to get on my phone and figure out how to do.
Yeah, it was so the rollout to my last record, the ideas, the fact that we were sitting down and figuring out how to lip sync songs blew my mind. Mm-hmm. And the organic aspect of music just felt so lost. Mm-hmm. And I think that method, it sounds exhausting. There's far more, but it's the most pure method that there is. Like, bro, I remember back in 2010, if I loved the band, bro, everyone and their mother knew about it, and it felt like a duty. It felt like a responsibility.
I'm that way. I did that to you today.
Yeah, literally with the Scottish pop band. What were they called?
Camera Obscura.
We listened to some wild today, but the duty, the responsibility, it felt like, although there was an element of gatekeeping, there was a certain duty and a responsibility to be able to promote this band and help them get to where it is that they need to get so that we could see our boys.
Yeah.
Our boys, that's what it felt like, our boys, right? So that's wild to think how far we are from the scene that I grew up with, and even more so the scene that you grew up with.
Yeah, a lot has changed, and a lot of it's based on the iPhone.
Superficial. A lot of superficial.
Yeah, like, listen, I understand that I need to go on social media in order to promote the things that we care about.
Does it get you jaded?
It doesn't get me jaded. I would just rather not. Like, I like connecting with the people that are down with what I do. I have no problem with that. That's important to me. I just wish it didn't have to be like always just like, all right, so what are you posting today? Mm-hmm. It's just kind of not, it's not really like what, it's not really what I signed up for.
Was there any point that you feel like you conformed towards something that you were like, yo, I wish I didn't do this. Like, this sucks.
I mean, anytime that I'm looking into a camera and talking to it, I don't like doing that at all.
Yeah, I remember once you.
I hate it.
I remember once you had.
I try to just be myself, but I look at it and I'm just like.
You called me. You're like, this whole texting thing, dude. Like, with my friends, I just pick up the phone. I remember one time you and I spoke on the phone.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do that to a lot. I do that to my friends, man. Hey, what's wrong? Nothing. I just don't want to sit here and text for the next 3 hours with you, please. It's nothing to like.
Let's talk.
Let's talk and let's not look at this phone. And I get it. Like, I'm glad I have this phone. Is like, obviously I'm speaking to literally every person. We need it. And that's sad, but we do. We need it. We conduct business this way. We keep in touch with our loved ones this way. We keep ourselves informed this way. It's just rotting our brains.
Well, AI right now, there's I feel there's two types of people that are like, the first type of person is like, AI, it's going to replace our jobs. And then the second type is like, I'm using AI job for my job. Like, right. This is lit and I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm somewhere in between, genuinely. How do you think it's affecting your life, your profession?
I've never once used AI for anything.
Nothing.
No, that's not true. If I say, "Hey Siri," like
no, but I mean like a chat.
How old's Aretha Franklin kind of thing?
So ChatGPT. So yeah,
trivia
you have
stuff.
used AI.
What year did Appetite for Destruction come out?
But
I've never used
ChatGPT.
No, never used
Claude.
Not I can say for 100% certainty, I've never used AI. And I'm not like on a pedestal being like,
no.
I'm just saying, I'm literally.
Does it freak you out?
So me like, me like not wanting to look at my, it's a part of the same conversation where I'm just like, the thing I like about AI, well, I don't know how much like unrenewable resources it's using to make like a funny picture of my friend like riding an ostrich on the beach or something. I have not done this, but my friends will show me funny shit, and I'm like, that's funny.
Pretty lit.
But no, I've never used AI. I'm not down. I'm a dinosaur. Put me out of my misery.
Yeah, and how do you feel about this coming into the music scene? The other day, bro, I was on Discover. Spotify pisses me off with this, bro, because you cannot put AI artists on my Discover without telling me it's an AI artist, bro. Like,
yeah,
you need to allow me. Meta's doing the same as well, where like the other day I was on this girl's profile and she was, drop dead gorgeous, bro. Like, literally perfect. This girl's features were unreal. And then like I started to see like, and she was spitting facts, like bombs, bro. That's how it ended up on my algorithm.
What, a musician?
No. But this was an influencer, female influencer, and she was spitting bombs. It ended up on my algorithm, not because she's a female, but more so because of what she was talking about. And then I started to see like faults inside of it. And I was like, dude, this has a blue check mark. And this is an AI page.
Oh, yeah.
And like Spotify is dropping AI artists inside of my Discover. And I go to their page. And first of all, what pisses me off is when it fucks. Like, I heard this, I would say like 60s blues cover of Many Men by 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is insane.
And all someone has to say is, show me, right?
Bro.
Show me like a blues version of
it's prompted.
A 50 Cent song.
It's prompted. And that sent me, bro. So have you experienced it inside of the scene? Are you concerned about like that, man?
I had an Uber driver recently in Colorado. I had an Uber driver, like, as soon as I got in there, I was like, oh. He was like on some, I think he was like a mix between like a doomsday prepper and a conspiracy theorist, and maybe like a few screws loose kind of thing. Within the kind of guy that within like 60 seconds was showing me an AI song that he had
made.
He didn't write it, but he
prompted,
supervised it. I don't know.
It's a prompt.
Prompted it. And it was a country song, which was like, I was like, all right. He wanted to play. I wasn't gonna not hear it, so it's just like, yeah. Show me.
What did you tell him that you were an artist?
I was in town playing a show. So I may have I could have just been, it's more like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. And then he's like, what are you up to? And I'm like, well, I got a show tonight, but I'm bouncing over here to do this and that. So maybe I invited it by saying I'm a musician, but I like talking to people. Like, should be able to talk to people. But this individual, within 60 seconds was showing me the most soulless nonsense I've ever heard in my life. I get that. Like, I get that AI is now, people are making music that way, and it's trickling into people's like real lives where they don't know what it is or if it's from an actual human or not. Like where you're getting fed that you didn't ask for.
I don't that.
Yeah, I hate it. It's I dare AI to make something good. I haven't heard it yet.
Dude, I'm telling you, this 50
you can make that's going to appeal to somebody who has no taste or no soul.
Bro, I'm telling you, this 50 Cent song, it pissed
blues rendition. It pissed you off because it was good.
It was so good, bro. And I was like, yo, this is, and maybe it was because I was like, I had just finished smoking, so like, I wish I would have heard it sooner and sober.
This might just be me, but when I smoke, or if I'm on, if I'm high, or if I'm on mushrooms or something like that, good music is better. Bad music is worse.
No, so it was good. It was good, bro. And then I went and I looked up the artist because I went to the Spotify, and the related artists were no one I recognized, and the bio was something like a one-liner. I was like, let me see who's in this band. And it was AI artist. Mm-hmm. Like everything that was coming up was this new AI artist, and they were signed by a label. The AI artist.
Who signed it? The guy that programmed it, prompted it? The guy that typed in, play me.
I have no idea, bro. Like, I was just watching something on Instagram. Neo, I think it's the I'm so sick of love songs. I think that's
I remember Neo.
I think
R&B artist.
That's Neo. It's Neo. Fact check that, please. If it's not, then whatever. Neo, he was spotted inside of the airport, and someone came up to them, and apparently he owns like record labels, and someone came up to him and they were like, how do you feel about your label just signing an AI artist? And he was like, I didn't know about that. And they're like, well, is there decision-making power happening inside of your company that you're not aware of? And he was like, and they asked her like, well, what do you feel about it? And he was like, well, as long as it's a songwriter or an artist that is utilizing AI in order to further it, then that's okay. But if it's just a prompt, then I'm not okay with it.
I would be very curious as a morbid experiment to say, okay, make a song about this with Vinnie Caruana's sensibilities and songwriting chops and all that. There's no way it's going to be good.
Dude, we got to try it after this. We have to try.
No, you're not breaking my. No,
It's gonna be your first time.
no, you're not.
You said you were
starting it.
curious, bro. You said you were curious.
No, but what I'm saying is just like, it's gotta have soul, and if there's no soul creating it, if there's not a soul or a group of souls creating it, it will not have soul.
I feel the same. But it is terrifying to think that I was fed music that I enjoyed.
And it's a catchy tune, and our ears go, oh, that's a catchy melody. You know what I mean? I get it.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, AI.
Yeah.
The modern world.
Dude, I wish I could say that. I hate the idea. Me and Ace Enders, a good friend of both of
I
ours.
love that guy.
With all my
I would
spirit.
never say Ace Enders.
With all my spirit. No, I'm kidding, Ace. Papa Ace, I love you. And he's going to watch this episode. You know he is. But I have this conversation, and I remember Ace talking to me about this like 5 years ago, and he was like, I hate everything about AI. And like, he was going into some valid points because he doesn't just talk to talk. Like, he's extremely intelligent. He does his research. Yeah. The dude listens to talk radio. Like, if you listen to talk radio, your brain works different. But he was telling me about this, and I was like, no, bro, you got to get in the forefront of things. And I was very much so pro AI. And then when I've seen like, bro, someone cannot post on Instagram a caption with it being their own thoughts. People are going straight to chat in order to write that. I'm in group chats where people are responding, and I can tell it's the fucking format. If you're watching this, I know you're using ChatGPT. It has a little dash every time that you want to post something. It has the format in which it writes. You can tell it's chat. And people are in chats communicating and not even creating thought process of their own.
That's right.
And
dude.
that is so, and you don't know because you've never used it before, but you're getting ChatGPT'd. And now I'm more so on the Claude train. Not that it makes it any better in regards to the behavior that it produces, but it is from a data perspective more secure. And you know, I ChatGPT's on some weird, but the point is, now I understand what Ace was saying. I get him. And he was calling out that I didn't foresee being a problem. And I think about all the problems that we don't foresee. Like we were talking about certain figures in the limelight, whether it's political, whether it's entertainment wise, there's dupes that you can't even tell. And you don't know what's going on. And you're getting fed narratives.
Yeah.
And
Deep
you're like,
fakes.
I'll take it. I'll take it at face value. Let's do it, man. That is what it is.
I saw Tucker Carlson basically apologizing for his entire existence the other day.
Yeah, I saw that
And
too.
I was like,
I saw that too.
this must be fake. Is this guy has humility now? Like
I
this
saw
guy
that
has
too.
a soul? This guy has a conscience? No, can't be. I was honestly like, oh, somebody just made this.
No, it's on his YouTube.
Yeah, no, I know
like
it's
2 hours long.
real, but I honestly
Which kind of has me like,
I was waiting for like a little glitch, like a little to see if it was him.
dude, everyone, right?
I thought it was fake.
There's some weird going on right now. Like we were just talking about Joe Rogan and Theo Von's podcast. I don't know if you saw
A recent pod that they just did.
Yeah, and Theo Von's unhinged. I love Theo Von.
He's a funny guy.
I think Theo Von's hilarious, and I love Joe Rogan. I think Joe Rogan, his conversations have broadened my perspective on so many different topics. But Theo Von was talking about some things in regards to MAGA, what's going on inside of the war and things along those lines, and like being just a real human being about them.
Good.
And you could tell Joe got so uncomfortable.
Yeah, because Joe's responsible for
a
lot of this.
Yeah. Oh, wait, explain.
I think Joe has the ears of a lot of people. And I think Joe's smart enough to know that Trump is a psycho. And I think I'm surprised Tucker Carlson did his video before Joe did. Instead, I think Joe's he seems to have doubled down. I saw him in the Oval Office last week. I think Joe swung the vote pretty well with young white men, not just white men, but younger demographic men.
Younger demographic for sure.
And he sees how wild this shit is. It's not Joe Rogan's fault that the country is the way it is, but he didn't help, in my opinion. And I'm glad to hear that Theo Von who's another guy that wields a heavy, like he's got a lot of people's ears. I'm glad that he speaks up, especially, Joe seems to be the leader of that gang.
He is.
And it's just like, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool to see some of them being like, no, dude, like, this is ridiculous now. Look where we're at in 2000.
Joe was gaslighting him. He was like, you're losing your mind. And Theo was like, am I? And he was like, yeah, it's the antidepressants that you're on. Which is wild because Theo mentioned that way earlier inside of the conversation on some like, dude, it's hard to get off of these things on a state of vulnerability. Like, I'm good, but like it's really rough. Your chemicals get up and stuff like that.
No, he has eyes and ears.
Bro, 100% he has eyes and ears.
That's all you need right now.
I saw a comment that said, live long enough to see yourself become a Theo. No, what's the quote? What is it? Live long enough to see yourself become the villain? Yeah. Something along those lines. Something.
Well, I think what we're dealing with here, and we don't need to, I'm not a great political mind, but I am a person with eyes and ears. I think what we're dealing with here is like, the way I see it is like, wait a second. So everyone grew up watching movies, rooting for the good guys. How is it that this many people are rooting for the bad guys? And I understand immediately when I say that is like, oh, well, I'm on this side, and on that side, we're the bad guys, and I'm the bad guys, or whatever. I do get that, but it's just like, what a weird... The way things are going now, and the way things are going, even just with Trump, and this is the most I've ever talked about politics on a podcast, but the way things are going now, it's like, all right, so it's all out in the open now, like Epstein files, why are we in this new war? What are we distracting from? All this like massive, just it's not even a perfect spider web. It's like a spider web that's like broken over here, and there's like a baby mouse got caught in this little part, and it's like, sorry, I have this weird visual of like the most up spider web of all time, but that is where America is right now, and that's like everyone's brains have been tied in a knot. But those who don't see that this isn't going well, you gotta step back and zoom out and be like, how did I get to the place where I'm excusing things that are inexcusable? And this shouldn't be a tribal thing. This shouldn't be a this side and that side. This should be like, if you're a true patriot, then you should be giving a about other Americans.
Well, dude, I was just in Europe.
It's the last I'm going to speak on that.
Yeah, man. I was just in Europe for a few weeks at a time, and I had such interesting combos, bro. Like, and with people from all walks of life, my brothers that are, following the Islamic culture, and my Christian brothers and sisters out there in Europe, and people that are non-denomination, and people from high wealth class, and then people from middle class. And I'm spending time with all these people, and their governments aren't perfect, bro. I'm in France, and I'm in all these different countries, and their governments aren't perfect by any means, but the United States, it really controls a pace of what the rest of the world is doing.
Yeah, it's throwing the whole planet off kilter.
Dude, it's wild, and you said a word that was very true. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of question on, like,
yeah, you're going overseas, and
dude,
people
I'm
are going...
spending time with them, even so much to the point, bro, deadass, step inside of an Uber in Portugal, France, Switzerland, and I'll speak Spanish before I speak English. That's the first thing that I ask. Habla español.
Oh man, I could have been doing that if I paid attention in school.
But like that, you see the way people treat you differently, just based off
I'm
of
Canadian.
that. Yeah, right. Hey. So we always wrap this thing up with a signature question, and the question changes a little bit with you, but I know you don't have children yourself. However, you have nieces and nephews that you love with your whole spirit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, man.
there's nothing that could make that any different.
Mm-hmm.
Years from now, I'm talking 15 years from now, 20 years from now, they're scrolling on YouTube and they see Uncle Vinny.
Yeah.
And they watch this part of the podcast. What do you want them to know about you?
Oh my God. So my Uncle Vinny status it's had ebbs and flows. So Uncle Vinny, I have 2 nieces and a nephew, my brother's children. Who I've been with them there since they're tiny. And then they get to teenage levels, and I don't know, when I was a teenager, I wasn't like really being like, well, hold on, I got to make some time to hang out with my uncle. I was forging my own thing and like getting into what I was getting into and making friends and becoming who I am. And now I've had the pleasure of watching my nieces and nephews grow into the people they're becoming. And now all of my friends are having kids or have been having kids. So I've gotten to dive back into Uncle Vinny status, where I have a
bunch of adopted
I have a
nieces
relationship
and nephews.
with, my nieces and nephews range from high school to like, in their 20s. And it's just like, now I get to dive back in and be Uncle Vinny for like my best friend's kids and stuff, which is the best. I think that's such a hard and layered question for you to lay on me on 3 hours sleep. Jesus Christ, Matt. Can you say the question one more time?
20 years from now, they're scrolling through YouTube. They see Uncle Vinny. What do you want them to know about you?
Wow. Your Uncle Vinny definitely took a road less traveled, doing something that he believes in and doing something that fulfilled him and made him a happy man. Your Uncle Vinny believes that music can saved his life for sure. You know your Uncle Vinny because of music. And not everybody has to do what Uncle Vinny did, but you should live your life doing something that you love and doing something that you care about, and making sure you do spread love and making sure you do listen aside from just talking. And, friendship and family are the most important things. When the smoke clears in any situation in your life, it all boils down to your friends and your family. And they are an extension of your soul and you as a person. So whatever crazy is going on, or if there's like an AI like robot like running your household when you're 20 years from now, and I don't know how that's all going to shake out. There's things like there's real life happening. Make sure that you take all of that on board, experience it all. Now I'm just giving them advice. Uncle Vinny loves you. Do something you care about. Live this life with conviction. Love deeply. And that's from Uncle Vinny.
Vinny, I wish you were my uncle.
I mean, I could be.
You could.
You're not that much older than my oldest niece.
Yeah, adopt me.
I don't know, man. I think I need you to stop.
Stop.
I think I'd like for you to adopt me.
We could
just
go
for
sleep.
my I'll just escape to Florida every once in a while, maybe Puerto Rico every once in a while.
Well, mi casa, su casa.
You don't
Vinny,
gotta adopt me, just be my friend.
for life, man. I can promise you that for the rest of mine.
Cheers, brother.
I love you. I
Love you
appreciate
back.
you, bro. I thank you. And the space of solace would not be the same without you, brother.
Thank you very much for having me. And what's that cat's name again?
MJ.
MJ. Thank you for your love.
She's
I haven't
over there
pet a cat
eating
in
twat.
so long. I know.
I
Peace,
just
bro.
wanna be
Thank you.
in the zone.